Okay, so we're going to talk about classes in regard to their static member variables and do a little bit of a wrap up on the overview of classes that we've discussed for this module. So one final thing in regard to classes is you can have static member variables of a class, and you can also have static member functions of a class. And what's important about these is they exist even if no object of the class type exists. So you can actually use them even if you don't have any objects of that particular class. We use the keyword static to declare a function or a variable of the class as static, and then all objects of the class will share that static variable across them. So it'll be the same for every instance or every object of that class. And it doesn't matter how many objects the class are created, there's only going to be a single copy of that static member. So it's shared amongst all the objects in the class. So you might be thinking, well, where might this be useful? If the static member variable or function is public, you can access it using the class name and scope resolution operator. And we typically use it to count the number of instances of a class. For example, if we're in a GUI environment, how many windows do we have, or how many buttons are available within the form. And we can do that because all objects of the class will share the same static member. You could also use it to count the number of enemies in a video game, or like we mentioned, the number of GUI objects in a graphical user interface. You can also have static accessor functions associated with them in the event that you did not make it public. So a very quick review as to where we've been with classes. A class is a collection of a fixed number of components, and they're usually of different types. Components of the class are called the members of the class, and we access them by name. They can be functions or variables, and they get classified as either private or public. Typically, the member variables are private and the member functions are public. In C++, the class variables are called objects, and classes will have names, attributes, and operations. The only built-in operations on classes are assignment and member selection. And later on, we'll run into some problems with assignment, but the member access operator works for classes regardless, and that's the dot operator. There are three special types of operations that we need to write for our class at this point in time. Those are the accessors or the getters, the mutators or the setters, and the constructors. We further move along and we define a class as an abstract data type that separates the logical properties from the implementation details, and we can do that, realize that through separate compilation. We divide those into three different types of files. The interface, which is the header file that tells what the class will do. The implementation are the details that tells how the class will actually accomplish its task. Sometimes we don't want to see all those details, and so it's good to separate the interface from the implementation. And then the application, the actual program that uses the class. And that's all for now. Thanks so much for watching.